You're listening to Tusk Talks Radio. Stay tuned as we talk about important community topics and what's happening at Kent State Tuscarawas. Learn about the campus and its academic programs, athletics, student activities, performing arts center events, and community involvement. The purpose of Kent State Tuscarawas is to help you find yours. With 27 degree programs, low tuition, and excellent faculty, you can create your own success story at Kent State Tuscarawas.
And this morning we are happy to be joined on our Tusk Talk segment by Steve Schillig, who is the Small Business Development Center Director, and a very timely topic with Steve today. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Well, always honored to catch up with things going on at the Tusk campus. And you, I'm guessing a lot of people want to talk to you right now. It's very timely with the businesses really affected during this pandemic, Steve.
No question. We've seen a significant increase in inquiries, both phone calls and emails. So we're battling that along with our small business owners.
You know, and this is frightening to think, but with the close down now about 3 weeks, the sad part is probably some small businesses, Steve, are not going to be strong enough to reopen after this is all over with, and that's where you come in. There's a lot of programs out there that could maybe prevent that from happening to businesses.
Absolutely, and it started from the top, all the way from the White House through Congress down to our small business owners, and that is that they have done what they think is at least the initial steps in helping as many small business owners as they can, and they've done that through two programs, two loan and forgivable loan programs.
Are you seeing most small businesses reaching out and trying to figure this thing out and making sure that they can reopen? And what are your takes as far as the programs? Are these solid offers that are being out there?
Yeah, I'm still amazed at the small business owners' passion. It hasn't ceased, it hasn't stopped, and maybe it's even increased in their intent on keeping this thing moving forward and afloat. But I believe that the loan programs have rolled out to many effectively. We just got word yesterday that of the number of loans approved in Ohio and the dollar amount. That's the good news. The bad news is that we're at about 2/3 of what was originally committed from the top at that $350 billion. But yeah, we've heard some recent successes from our clients and others on their application process. So I know it wasn't as fast as many had hoped, but it is seeming apparent that it's working in the right direction.
Yeah, these are uncharted waters that we're all dealing with right now. One of the things I've heard, Steve, is that some of the people that have tried to apply, they're kind of getting some blockage, or not so much blocking, but lack of understanding on maybe the bank's part on how these programs are being offered. Is that somewhat still an issue for some of these businesses?
Unfortunately, it is, and I feel bad for my banker brethren. I spent 30-plus years in the industry and know what they're going through, but as you mentioned earlier, uncharted waters, and what the information that was to be disseminated down through the channels, it was done as quickly and as effectively as possible, but there were kinks in the armor. So the banks are doing everything possible, but no way were they prepared for the onslaught of applications. I sent a survey out to my banker friends earlier this week and just did a little quick survey and asked, and that one relatively smaller community bank had 30,000 applications presented to them. And a huge number when you're not prepared to take on that kind of volume. But other banks have either suspended or stopped the program, at least temporarily, until they can get their paperwork in order. So I feel very, very badly for them, and I feel bad for the small business owners who have to sit back and wait.
And you're kind of in the middle of the whole thing, trying to, negotiate and point people in the correct direction. We're talking with Steve Schillig, the Small Business Development Center Director at Tusk campus of Kent State University. Yeah, this is something I guess patience is going to have to be a virtue for everyone, not only the business owner side, but the bank as well, because there's just so much happening so quickly that it's going to take a while to navigate through all of this. But I think we're all learning each day, and as you say, you're seeing some real showing of support from small business folks trying to hang in there, and we're going to get through this.
No question. The resiliency is impressive, and I truly believe in our small business owners.
What's your advice, Steve, as far as a small business owner? How would you direct them if I'm calling you and saying, hey, I need help? What can you tell me? How would you suggest I go about applying and getting through this whole process?
But I'd say first and foremost, make sure you're aware of and have reached out for the two primary financing programs, and Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, commonly referred to as EIDL, and the Paycheck Protection Plan, often referred to as the PPP. So make sure you're aware of it. We have the SBDC or me individually. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to share what information we have. It is very fluid and changing, but we do have pretty current information. So make sure you're aware that both programs are available. See which one or both may fit your immediate needs.
And I guess,
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I guess the thing to make sure that business owners are aware of as well, that they're not going to be shut out of this thing. There's not going to be a cutoff date or anything, correct? I mean, they will be able to get in and get this thing taken care of. It just may take a little bit longer just due to the sheer volume that they're dealing with.
Truly, under the EIDL, you're going to have through December 30th to apply. The PPP, it looks like we're going to be reaching that ceiling quickly. I understand that Congress continues to work on adding more dollars to that program and maybe even different programs as we move down this path. But I wouldn't hesitate to continue to go down that path sooner than later to get in line, if nothing else, for the capital, much needed capital. So,
are you hearing from any business owners that they're having trouble making the connection because of the congestion, the sheer amount, or is it fairly easily to get in to get this application?
No, still a challenge, and as I mentioned earlier, there are some banks that have unfortunately ceased or stopped taking applications. Some permanently because they reached the amount that they were willing to put into that bucket.
Yeah.
Others have temporarily stopped. We did get some news yesterday that, and not that I want to push anything away from our local lenders, but we did hear yesterday that both PayPal and QuickBooks now have an online application process for the PPP. So those may be two options if you have no others. And I can certainly pass on those links so they can Google that information. But that came from a colleague from another area in the state. So I feel very comfortable that those are two potential options if you just can't get in line with your current lender.
That's good advice. We're talking with Steve Schillig, the Small Business Development Center Director at Kent State Tuscarawas. You mentioned that you'd be happy to direct somebody in the proper channel. How or what is the best way, Steve, for anybody listening to get a hold of you?
Feel free to call my cell phone. That's what I'm on right now, and I'm happy to help any way I can to connect you to other resources to help you if we're getting ready to restart, revamp, or reposition your business. It doesn't just have to be about these loan programs, but that number is 330-605-5340. And I have an email as well that you're welcome to use if that's a better option for you, and it is sschil10@kent.edu.
Very unique time in our business world, in our overall world right now, Steve. And we know that folks are really working behind the scenes nonstop on this, including yourself. I hope you have that phone on the charger, because I'm certain it's ringing quite a bit these days.
It's been relatively crazy. There's no doubt about it. But no complaints on my end. It's our business owners that I'm most concerned about, and hope and pray that we can get through this as successfully as possible.
Nice to know that there is that resource there with yourself and our Kent State University Tusk campus. Just amazing to me, all the different channels that we're using to help people at the campus, and you're a big part of that. Appreciate you taking some time to be with us on the Tusk Talk segment today, Steve.
My pleasure, and thanks very much, Steve, for your help in this process, because that information is critical, communication is critical, and we want to make sure that all the business owners have what they need to move forward. So thank you.
Yes, and we will, of course, be here for any updates. We will, of course, pass it along to our listeners. And, of course, this particular interview, if you missed something that Steve said, we will be posting this as a podcast on WBTClive.com. And I know Kent always shares them as well. So, Steve, thank you. Keep up the great work, and appreciate the slot here with us this morning.
Likewise. Stay safe.
All right, same to you, my friend.
Okay.
Steve Schillig, the Kent State Tuscarawas Small Business Development Center Director, our guest this morning on Tusk Talks on Wednesday morning here on Big Hits.
What defines success? How fast? How far? How high? Success looks different for everyone. At Kent State University at Tuscarawas, your success is our success. Here you'll design your first video game, your first robot. You'll care for patients, human and animal. Touch lives, save lives, change lives. At Kent State Tuscarawas, you define your success. Plan your visit at kent.edu/Tusk.